To the dad.
Thanks.
To the host.
The other guy.
To the.
You're just not gonna say anything?
I don't know.
homie?
I don't know what you would say.
To the boy. I don't know. Like,
The other guy.
what significant life event do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
To the Mississippi Bacon Association.
Shout out Mississippi Bacon Association. Shout out Jake Graham. He made these hats.
All right. Who's got a good toast?
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
May all your ups and downs be under the sheets.
I like that. So, who wants to start? Hi, I'm Thomas Adams. I'm the owner of Uno Media.
I will not start anything.
I'm Thomas Adams. I'm the owner of Uno Media, and I'm joined today by my two lovely guests.
Hi, I'm Derek Assmann. I used to do, when I lived here in Denver, I used to do videography with Thomas, and that's how we met. Well, longer story, but yeah, that's how we met.
Chase.
My name's Chase Grimes, and I met these guys after moving here. Started shooting shows with Uno, and yeah, it's been best buds ever since. And I'm a photographer here in Denver, full time.
Hell yeah. So if you haven't gathered already, these two guys are legit. They're awesome. I've been working with them for years, and they're great. Couldn't ask for a better crew. We are doing this episode today because we want to bring awareness and celebrate Men's Health Month. So November, two of us have mustaches, but we're not going to blame this guy because he, you're a new dad. You can't remember to shave.
No,
But congratulations if you want to talk about being a new dad.
Let's see, I've been a new dad as of like last Monday, so it's only been like a week and a half-ish, somewhere in there. Being a new dad's great. It's definitely got its challenges from the start. I don't know, man. I'm just so sleep deprived where my brain is just on half capacity. But being a new dad, it's great. It's an incredible experience, and it makes you look at things a little bit differently. And I don't know, it's just normally like, if you guys have ever held like a newborn, like someone else's, you're like, oh cool, return to sender. I can't do that. There's no return policy. I get a receipt from the hospital, but they won't take it back. So no, my daughter's name is Lily Jane. Assmann.
Legendary name.
What a legendary
What a
name.
legendary name, dude.
Oh, it's so funny. Quick sidebar. So obviously I started this new job, and I was trying to get my phone system hooked up in our office to like my name and all that stuff, and I had to call the tech people, and the guy's like, how do you, like, what's your last name? I was like, go ahead, Jason, say it. Say it. And he started just laughing. He's like, okay. I was like, it's Assmann, but you can only imagine it's pronounced Assmann. He's like, man, I thought it was a Friday afternoon. I thought my coworkers were playing a joke on me. I was like, no, I'm real, man. I'm real. Like, stop by my office. I'm a real human. And he just started laughing. He sent me emails like, thanks for the Friday chuckle. Have a good weekend.
Nice. Yeah, you probably get into a lot of places no one else can, just with your name.
Yeah, it's fun.
And now your daughter can too.
Yeah.
Stoked for her.
I think I think it's gonna be my luck, and I would love to have a boy, but I think when we go to have another kid, I don't plan on having two kids. I think it's gonna be another girl, and so
Good luck, man.
whenever the time comes that
You're
they
never
gotta
gonna
get
be right.
no, drinking's become a lot more frequent. But when they go to get married, and if their fiance comes to ask me for permission, I'm like, I will give you permission, but you have to take our last name.
Ooh,
I'm gonna pull it on one of them.
I like that.
And if the first one doesn't work, then I gotta obviously get on the second one, because I'm the last one in my family to carry it on. So I kinda need
The
a boy.
lineage.
I kinda need a boy.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Being a girl that rocks though.
If you're a boy, I'm gonna influence that child severely. I'm
gonna tell my son.
raise him to make.
I'm gonna tell my son that you're just an ex-convict.
It'll be a couple years from now. Who knows?
Yeah, you got time.
You got time to fulfill the
Yeah.
role.
Let it marinate a
You
little
like
bit.
to call me Uncle Tom, and I'm just like, I can't make jokes about that.
Dude, just do something easy like arson. Just go set a building on fire.
Yeah.
You don't need like something serious.
I don't need provocation, man. Like,
Or like petty shoplifting.
I'm this close to setting a building on fire. I like that you started with that one.
You gotta have some uncle lore.
Yeah.
You gotta have some kind of story to tell.
Uncle Thomas is back at it again.
We don't talk about Uncle Tom. He's crazy. He's not allowed to Christmas
This
dinners.
Irish name's crazy. It all makes sense.
And I am. Alright, well, that was a fun
Yeah,
tangent.
there's my dad's spiel.
Congratulations again. Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Yeah, you guys will have to meet the little stinker here at some point. Once we get her off the oxygen, then that's when
I don't want one right now, but I'm glad you have one. I'll live I can still do the return to center thing.
Same.
So we are doing this episode for men's health, and I don't know really what made me think about it, because like I've always wanted to do like men's health stuff, like having testicular cancer. I was like, obviously men's health is important, but like this month isn't necessarily about physical health; it's like mental health. And I don't know what happened, but I was like in bed on Instagram, and just reel after reel after reel after reel was just men's health stuff. Like, are you okay? It was just all this heartfelt stuff, and I was like crying in bed, like, oh my god, I'm not okay. But I want to show you guys a video real quick, and we'll put it up on the screen. But let's talk about this video real quick. I sent it to every single male friend I have. I'll put it that way.
I'd rather carry the weight of your tears on my shoulders than carry the weight of your casket, bro. Happy Men's Mental Health Month, my guy. You know, being a man doesn't just mean shut up and work. Doesn't mean you gotta be bulletproof. It doesn't mean you never get to speak. Being a man means you get to be a light for other people. It means you get to guide the way. But it doesn't mean you have to do it alone. I'm here for you, bro.
You never know who you're gonna touch, but like Chase, after seeing that video, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's like being a male, being a guy, being a dude. You know, go through life with all these, you know, external pressures, and so, you know, women do too, but they're just different, and, you know, we go through life with certain pressures that make it seem like, you know, we can't make a mistake. We have to be 100% all the time, and, you know, that's like definitely a heavy burden to carry, and, you know, the fact that people are, you know, putting it in the conversation and just like, you know, making sure we're okay kind of thing, you know, is nice. It's nice, you know, to have that support nowadays. 'Cause I feel like a long time ago that was not the case.
Well, I think society's finally starting to break the stigma of, like what you were saying, we have all these external forces acting upon you as a male in society, and then, you know, probably like our dads and stuff are like, oh, you can't be vulnerable, you can't show your emotions, you have to, like, if life gets tough, suck it up and do it. Like, I think that stigma is starting to fade, which is nice, because
Let's hope.
yeah, that's my only hope, is that you know, mental health, I think, has started to become, like, awareness has started to become more popular probably in the past 5 years. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it picked up so fast. I feel
Yeah.
like everybody, like, we went to the Imagine Dragons show, and he actually took time out of the set to be like, everybody should go to therapy.
Yeah.
Like, therapy saved that guy's life. You think about people like Chester from Linkin Park,
Yeah.
Robin Williams, Philip Seymour Hoffman, like all these people that like are just like top of their class, and they're struggling with things that like no one wants to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, that probably could, well, I don't know if Mac Miller's a good.
No, it's
example,
probably that's
but-
probably a great example. We never knew. He never really had the shot to open up. You know?
I'm wearing a Mac Miller shirt right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But yeah, you have these people that like you're saying, it's cool to open up now, but you think about like not saying my dad did any of this, but like you have those like boomers, or you have the people from Gen X, and just like that was so ingrained in them. Like you watch Mad Men, like you couldn't talk about it, you just drank the pain away.
Yeah.
You just stick to what the status quo is. And
I
like,
agree.
I think that's part of Men's Health Month, November. Like the whole movement as like a whole is, let's talk about it. Like you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I
I need that sometimes.
I think it's even cool, like, I've been around my dad before, and I was either talking to like you, or Connor, or someone on the phone, and honest to God, just about every single time I either hang out with one of you guys, or talk to someone on the phone, one of like my homies, at the end of the call, I'm like, hey man, I love you, like, and my dad just like turns his head, he's like, did you just say you love, like, your friend, your guy friend? Like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
There's nothing, and like, he's not, I don't think he like really judges me on it, or I've been around other people where I've said that and they're just like, that was kind of weird, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why is that weird? Girls say it to each
it's
other.
just like a
So
social.
like, plus this,
Yeah.
it's like the whole thing of like, what if something happened to you from between now and the last time I talked to you?
Yeah.
At least I know peace of mind for me, knowing like, well, I told him like I love him, and that's true, because I love my guy friends. Like, I don't think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's only weird if you make it weird. That's the
So
thing.
for those that don't know, Derek lives up in Winter Park. We're filming in Denver right now. But like if you had God forbid, if you had a wreck on the way home, I would hope you know how much you mean to me. So, and I love you is probably the easiest way to say that. But at the same time, like, if you're not comfortable with I love you, then just tell somebody that, you know, like you as well. If I didn't know you two, I would be an entirely different person. And I think that men need to know that. Like, we're so afraid of, some sort of slur here, but like, it's not okay to not let your friends know how you feel. Like, you're changed for the better because of you guys. I am because of you guys.
Yeah.
You are because of everybody you know.
You are
Like,
who you spend your time around. And it's, I actually had a recent situation yesterday. I had a situation yesterday where I left my backpack with my laptop in Denver at my buddy's apartment. He had like dinner on Thursday night, and I left it there yesterday. I needed it, to work on a freelance project, and so I was like, hey man, I'm gonna come, pick up my backpack at in the morning at some time. And he was like, all right, sounds good. I get there, we're chatting it up, and I grab my bag, we're leaving, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever told him specifically that, but I was like, if we finished what we were saying, I was like, all right, man, I love you, bro. I'll see you later. And he was like, almost taken aback by it, like in a good way. And it's cool to see someone appreciate that. And he definitely made it clear that he appreciated that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And it doesn't happen super often, but I mean these days, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
It's probably nice little
that is one thing
Yeah.
that I love about you, man. It's just like, I've never gotten off the phone with you or left a gathering with you and felt like, Chase doesn't like me.
No, yeah.
You're very communicative about the fact that you're like, dude, love you, or like,
Yeah.
this was a great experience.
It's
or something like
a
that.
habit now. It's like if even if I say it habitually, I'm not gonna say it to someone that I don't, someone I don't want to be around, someone that bothers me. So someone I don't know, I have to get to know you to some degree, before I say something like that. But yeah, man, absolutely. I love you guys, man. Cheers.
Yeah.
Me too, buddy.
Love you too, man.
The funny thing is sometimes Chase would say that to me right before we go mountain biking, because he knows. He knows that I'm toast. Like, I love you, see at the bottom. Love you, guys, see at the bottom.
Don't die.
I can hear just like 21 Gun sloop playing in the background. Just like, I'm so toast.
When you
man.
broke your axle that one time,
Yeah.
the last time we rode it, you just didn't show up, and I wasn't getting any calls or anything. I called you, you didn't respond. I was like, oh no.
Shit.
Like, cause over the winter before that, I had the same thing happen with a friend of mine that came in town, and she was on the slopes. We had taken different paths, just the one time we did the whole time. She went on an easier path, I took the double black, like, bowl, and I get down to the bottom, and no response. I don't get anything from her for like 45 minutes, and we're just like, this is the first time she had been at that ski resort, and I was
That's the worst.
freaking out. I was like sitting on the lift, like panicking, like what am I gonna? I don't know what's going on. Like I'm trying to plan for like the worst, so that if something was to happen, I'm prepared. But yeah, thankfully everything was fine. Thankfully everything was fine with you. But yeah, anytime I go out on the mountain, with somebody that maybe hasn't been at that specific place as many times as I have, it always makes me nervous.
Yeah.
So,
Wear your helmets.
yeah, definitely.
I got a concussion last year in February.
What happened with you?
Yeah,
Was that
it was
smoke?
because of you. Yes.
All right.
What? Okay. Okay.
So we're out at Steamboat. It's a powder day. So much fun. But I was getting tired. That's definitely rule number one. Once you start getting tired, don't do the double blacks. But we were doing the tree run, and we went down that lift. Like when you come down to the bowl there at Steamboat, there's like a left and a right lift, and we were coming off that right lift.
Is this when you lost your ski?
Yes.
I forgot about that.
And freaking Derek and his friend were like, just hucked it off. It was like easily 10, maybe 15?
I was like a 20-foot drop.
That was a 20-foot drop. Okay, then yeah, that's why I hurt myself. But yeah.
I was like, you got it! And he's like, I don't got it.
They just send it and they're just gone. And I'm just sitting there like, shit. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Again, Men's Health Month. It's okay to be a pussy. I hucked it and I landed it, but I landed it so deep that my skis got stuck in the snow. Like I just came down and I snapped out, and the front of my forehead, the unprotected part of the helmet, just bopped right into the snow. And then we spent like 20-30 minutes looking for the skis, and then I went on one run by myself without them. And I was like, I gotta go sit down.
He texted me, he's like, done.
I was like, you guys have fun. But yeah, I went to like neurology and the doctor. I went to the ER because I was like, it was weird. I was fine a couple days later. But then like a month later, I had like a complete blackout.
Whoa.
Like just no memory. I was acting weird. And I hadn't been drinking, so that tells me it was something neurological. But yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, melatonin and take your magnesium, and like concussions are weird. Like so, like people don't really know about concussions still.
That's wild.
Like, there's no easy fix for them. But I'm doing better now. I'm ready to hit the slopes. Definitely not sending it off a 20-foot jump, you asshole.
No, hey, I was like, he's got it. And then I hit. I was like, oh shit. I don't think he's got it.
Hey, I did it. I landed it. I just landed too deep.
Well, that's what happens when you're with the Steamboat Boys, man. You just you start off the day sober-ish, and then at the end of the day, you're like,
Your
I'm
friends are
sideways. Oh, I can't keep up with them. Are you kidding me? Like,
Dude,
animals. I mean, if I lived in Steamboat.
we need to have a little slope day
Yeah.
at Winter Park or something, just to make it convenient for you. Like
that'd be nice.
we can come up, we can stay, we can snuggle up in their one bed.
Oh,
Oh, we have two. We have the Murphy bed in the actual.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
You can take my office. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll need to come up there and do some.
Don't tell me. I want to snuggle.
Okay. Haley can sleep in the office then. You guys can snuggle. That's fine.
No, that sounds great. I'm down. I don't have an icon pass this year.
I don't either.
Okay, cool.
So.
We can buddy passes.
Oh,
25
yeah.
day passes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, your wife works for one.
We're gonna use that for sure. Can you get 2 people at once?
Yeah.
20.
Bucket hit your bitch in the socks.
I've never heard that before.
I don't know what the words are, but it's bad behavior. The catch me outside girl.
Mm-hmm.
Catch me outside, have a date.
Her and Hawk 2 have a lot in common.
Dude, yeah, like
being
Just
a bitch about that.
And the amount of comments I've seen are like, oh, Hawk Tuah should have been on the presidential ballot.
Oh, I
It's
saw
like, I will definitely leave the country if that girl gets president.
No, people were definitely putting it on the ballot just like as a joke. And I saw some statistic that said that was the highest like number write-in as Hawk Tuah or Talk Tuah were the highest write-ins on the ballots.
It's
Oh.
shocking.
I wrote in Kanye, so
Yeah, I got started on Kid Rock.
Another
So
friend of mine did wrote in, yeah.
if we're gonna have fun with it, we might as well have fun, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Kanye would make it fun. Let's be real. I'll write in Kendrick.
welcome to the land of Jesus. I'd be like, holy shit.
I'd write in Kendrick just so every presidential election, every presidential speech would be like, fuck you, Drake. With his Polar Express looking braids.
Polar Express.
I'm trying to
Have
put
you
that.
seen there's a meme that
I'm trying to
like,
put that one together.
he looks like exactly like the girl from Polar Express.
Oh,
I know exactly
know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah.
you said it.
I was like, Polar
He looks
Express braids?
exactly like her, and I'm just like, why would you do that?
God.
All right. All that being said, what does men's health mean to each of you?
I think, men's health in general, to me, I guess, is just, obviously me being a man, me being male, you've got to take into account your own health specifically, just like any other individual. But, when it comes to, different genders, it's, you have slightly different things that you need to maybe focus more on than others, but obviously it's all encompassing, so it's, your mental health is huge. That's that might be even number one, just because everything else you do comes from your mind telling your body what to do, so mental health is definitely extremely important. And then, so our mental health relating to, our roles as men and the, certain, like I talked about earlier, the certain stigmas and pressures that we have externally, we, just kind of have to navigate those in a healthy way, where it's like, if you're expected to do something specifically because you are the male, you've got to, either you have to do that to some degree, obviously, you have to do that, and then from there, it's making sure, checking in on yourself, making sure you're okay, with just everything going on, and making sure you don't burn out, you don't, especially relating to your career, because it's, I just always feel like I have to be the hardest worker in the room all the time, and that's not always the case. So men's health to me is like taking care of your mental health as it relates to your daily life and your, the expectations that are put on you, and, taking care of your body, taking care of your health, because, once you take care of your mental health, your body comes next, because that is part of your body. And, both of those can go either way, but mental health, physical health. And I have read something about heart disease being the main, the main issue with men specifically. It's like that's the main health issue with men, statistically. Don't quote me on that, but I've seen several sources that have mentioned that heart disease is the main health issue. And I have heart disease that runs in my family, so that always has me on edge about things. I'm always trying to make sure I'm getting in the gym, make sure I'm staying active. Mountain biking helps me do that. And that helps. It gets my adrenaline fix too. That's also something for my mental health. Is like I need some sort of adrenaline fix. It doesn't need to be constant, but like I have to have some sort of like outlet to, it's just so, it's extremely enjoyable for me to kind of be on the edge of like almost like danger.
Yeah.
You're talking about health and you're talking about being
I know,
scared.
and that's the
for
thing,
real.
is like you safely ride that line to then, give yourself that feeling of excitement as it relates to like, I'm alive, like I exist, I'm alive, I'm here, I like to remind myself of that, and
I think it helps it balance you out.
yeah,
It's almost like a reset button.
Yeah.
Because like when I would ride with you, like we get to the bottom and we're both just like, dude, let's go. And then it just like kind of reinvigorates like your attitude, your emotional health too, which is I think sometimes not factored into men's health because I don't know, one thing that I've found very beneficial, now granted I've been super busy this past month with having a kid, a new job, and this and that and all that stuff, is I've spent, which you guys maybe have noticed, I've spent a lot less time on social media. Like
Good.
I think you guys have sent me. Actually the last time I just checked Instagram was when I was in the bathroom because you know it's the man's throne.
That's where, yeah, that's where it
And
happens.
I actually didn't even click into. I have like 15 notifications.
Yeah,
people
same.
sending me
I've seen a lot of
memes,
those.
and like I just haven't had time.
it's okay.
But to be honest, like that was one of my goals for this year was to not spend as much time on social media, like the active scrolling, because at the end of the day, I think to myself, I'm like, okay, what? Not that I need this verification or validation. It's like, what did I accomplish today? Because that's been one thing that's been on my mind. Is I turned 30 at the end of this year, so I'm really trying to like kind of reset my brain to like, you know, they say the 30s is your new 20s and all that stuff, and it's like, okay, I think back to my 20s, I'm like, okay, what did I accomplish? What did I do? Thanks. But I'm trying to
knocking on the door. Dude.
I am 30.
But I'm
it's
trying
not
to,
your
like,
new 20s.
But I'm trying to essentially rewire my brain to look, think, and act differently in certain situations that I know will help me become a better like male in society, but just a better human myself. Because I completely agree with you.
And a better father.
Oh, that and
Yeah, exactly.
that's a whole new realm I'm going to get into. But I think not comparing yourself, which this is no new information to either of you, but not comparing yourself to other people via social media, because social media is just, let's be honest, it's toxic.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's just
It's an instant dopamine fix that you
Exactly.
you don't have to work for. To
That's
achieve.
what I'm saying.
Well, so like you know who Bo Burnham is?
Yeah.
Like he came out sometime in the last few years after his like big hits, you know, like after he was doing his comedy
He
tours
went
and
to a
everything.
huge depression.
And yeah, because he came out and was like, the only reason social media exists is because like these companies have burned up all the land basically. So like, what's the next frontier? Your attention.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
it's not just data that they're getting from you. It's like, how can we keep these people on our longer?
Yeah,
you know?
the guy that invented what we see as modern day social media now. I don't know if it was MySpace or if it was somebody after that, but you know, do your own research. That's something very important. Do your own research.
You're not
for everything.
but you don't have a PhD just because you're doing your own research.
Yes, that's
Disclaimer.
absolutely true. All you can do is be as well educated as possible because everything you see online. After studying marketing, like my brain just sees. I see through things that the average person does not see through, and you know, everything you see online can easily be completely manipulated. It can be completely fake. If you look at AI, AI on top of it. Like my dad sent me a photo of some, you know, like I think Honda or Hyundai like truck that was in like just an AI design, AI rendered, you know, photo to get clicks.
Yeah.
Like it didn't exist, and I had to explain that to him. It was hard for him to like wrap his head around that. And I was just like, Dad, everything you see, don't believe it.
Yeah.
Off the bat, like you have to do your own research.
Pretty much don't believe it, even when you
I
see it.
have a full filter. Like anything I see online is like I assume that it's fake until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's working in media, working with social media,
100%.
like understanding AI to some degree. Like you know, I can look at things online and pretty quickly like realize if it's not real or if it is.
Well, that's like Haley.
But then I still have to have that wall, that filter to make sure,
Right.
because I don't want to be spewing information to people that isn't true.
Haley showed me some pictures, and I honestly couldn't tell the difference.
That's the
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and I was
That's
like,
the scariest thing.
like, look, like you have to like almost do too much research where it's like, okay, well, seasonally, if you're looking at Switzerland right now, that couldn't have been real, but like the colors are so vivid and like just.
Especially when
I don't know. It sucks. It sucks that you can't take everything just like as a picture anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like back to the how would you define men's health? And I agree with Chase. Like it's all. I usually tell Maggie this because everyone goes through peaks and valleys of like your emotions and like your mental state. But I told her, I'm like, don't worry about me. The most important piece right now is you. Focus on you. I am secondary. Yes, I'm your husband, but still, like, I can take care of myself, or I will go do my own thing. But I want to make sure that you're good first, because you can't be not necessarily a good human to other people, but if you're not mentally, physically, and emotionally sound yourself, then how are you going to revert that to other people? Because then you put your own stuff to the wayside, trying to please others, and then your mental and emotional state just tanks.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure everyone has their, like I said, peaks and valleys of when they feel their best. But for me personally, like even after being so distant from social media, and I'm honestly at the beginning of this year, I'm not a big New Year's resolution person, but I'm gonna try to go without social media for at least the first month.
Sweet.
And even over the past 3 weeks, 3 weeks to a month, I'm probably on Instagram like once a week, and just. For me, that helps me kind of be more in the moment with whatever I'm doing, and that honestly it's almost like resetting your dopamine levels, like you were saying.
Yeah,
like,
big time.
Because social media is just so like, everyone, I guarantee you 90% of people our age, before they go to bed, they're in their bed scrolling on their phone.
100%.
And then it affects your sleep cycles and everything. There's some crazy science behind it all, and I'm not going to spew facts because I don't know any off the top of my head, but
That's good.
Like
no false information.
Like I've started to try to like read more before I go to bed, where I'm not staring at a screen. Especially like when I was working at the prior company I was at, you'd be staring at a computer screen for 10 to 12 hours a day, and then you like exit that work environment, and then you go to like eat dinner, and most of the time people are watching TV or something while they eat dinner, or before you go to bed you turn on the TV to fall asleep. Like I know a lot of my friends do that, and I'm trying to actually like read before I go to bed, because one, that gets your mind out of that constant I need to look at a screen, and then you're actually one, you're benefiting your health and your your intelligence by reading it. Well, I don't know about intelligence, it just depends what you're reading.
Well, if you're reading information if you're reading a book that has information in it that you didn't know previously, and you're more educated by reading that information. And I mean, even though the comment I made about researching everything, double checking everything, obviously a written book sometimes can just be opinions, but most of the time with written media, or at least in a book, for the most part, is a lot more. You can trust it more than something online, because things online.
They have to go through like whole different steps
Yeah.
than somebody who's just putting like an educational video on YouTube.
Yeah, and obviously, like you can still learn from someone else's opinion. It just shows their viewpoint.
Yeah.
And if you agree with their viewpoint, then cool. You learn more about yourself that you
That's why we're in this situation we're in right now.
And I mean, I've read like the first book that I finished in the last like several years was very beneficial to me. It was about like I couldn't tell you the name of the book. I was just off the spur of the moment, but I read the book cover to cover. A friend of mine gave it to me. He was like, "Hey, you should read this. It's awesome, especially as a creative." And I read it, and it basically talked about how we put like mental barriers up that just don't exist to achieve our creative endeavors. Like, oh, I want to do this whole creative project. What's stopping you? Tell me. Because it's you. It's all in your mind. Like, there's really nothing keeping you from doing something creative that you want to accomplish. Unless it's like literally physical, like, oh, I want to run a marathon and do something creative with it.
Do it.
I don't have legs. Oh, well, you have a wheelchair. You can do that, but you know, obviously you can modify it a little. But yeah, it's I really enjoyed that book.
The Cat Williams talks about little Tink Tink.
What was that?
Like, well, it's his joke on like it's the runner's modifications for people who don't have legs,
Oh yeah.
or like they're running on like
The
the
spring.
springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
like
cool.
Little Tink Tink, but
curved ones.
like yeah, there's nothing stopping anyone from doing something like that. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing anything when you think about it. Like with the advancements we've had in technology, with the advancements we've had in medicine, like it's crazy we still have to bring things up that's like specifically to man. Like what's wrong? Like just an "are you okay" isn't enough, you know? Like we should be able to like do whatever we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
you go. No, you go.
No, you.
No, you hang
I
out.
was gonna ask him. I was like, we haven't heard. I guess your definition of like what is.
It's tough, man.
Especially someone who's been through cancer, like a major medical, take issue as a obstacle. I'll put it as obstacle, a major medical obstacle, and overcame that obstacle. How has that changed like your perspective or thought on? I guess it's the same word. Perspective on men's health.
I appreciate you asking. Cause yeah, I heard you guys talking like so eloquently about men's health. I'm like, shit, what am I saying?
Don't be stupid.
But, yeah, you know, when you get to like the base layer, every guy when they're asked, "Are you okay? What's going on? How was that experience for you?" You're just like, "Yeah, it was cool." You know, I'm that kind of guy. Like, "Oh, you lost a full testicle. How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine. It really wasn't that bad." Yeah, exactly. Like, "Oh, I've got the paperweight on this side now." But, like, it's deeper than that, you know. Like for years, I went through like a libido thing. Like just they tell you when they cut it off that like testosterone and sperm and everything is really only held in one side anyway. So we're just really hoping that we're cutting off the side that's not producing it. And it's like, really, thanks, I really appreciate that. But like, luckily, my swimmers work, it's fine. But it's an interesting experience overall, just health-wise. Like, testicular cancer isn't something to joke about that, and I try to do something every June to like help with that front.
Mm-hmm.
But just in terms of men's health, it's more than physical, and I think I had more mental stuff go on than I thought I did.
Yeah.
I really, yeah.
There was like a layer that you weren't aware of at the time because you were like stuck in the superficial.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in
top of it.
Oklahoma.
You're just like, all right, well, it's gone. What do I do now? And
Yeah.
there's like, I'm sure there's things mentally happening that you just didn't realize.
Yeah, I lived in
So
Oklahoma, and I just got out of college.
Do you think?
What was I gonna say? You know,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I've lived a whole lifetime, and like, I've really used that ball. Like, I don't know, like,
You think
I
there's?
don't know.
You think there's anything? I don't necessarily say like trauma, but anything
Trauma's a good word.
like mentally that you have not uncovered or dealt with yet, and either have been pushing off or. Sorry, this is a super deep question.
you're
but
good.
like that you haven't fully faced, and you know you have to face it, or that it's been just like something that's been looming on your shoulders. Like, is there anything like
I
that,
don't know.
spiritually?
I
You might not
don't
even know
know.
yet because you haven't approached it.
I don't know is the answer. I go to therapy. Everyone else should too. Therapy is not a demonizing thing. If you go to therapy, you're going to be happier with yourself. It's not just because you're fucking crazy. Like, even if you think about the craziest person you know, they can go to therapy and they won't be demonized. So like, it's a healthy thing for everybody. Even in therapy, I haven't uncovered that yet. I'll say that. Like, I don't know necessarily what trauma, but it was a traumatic experience. But like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
You were what, 22 when it happened?
22. I was right on the cusp of graduation when I got diagnosed.
Right.
had the surgery, went through graduation, went through chemo that summer. 23, the next year, I was done. So, or 23 that summer. So I was actually had my birthday while I was going through chemo.
Wait, so when I met you, you were just finishing chemo?
What was that, 2017?
Wait, 23, what? You were, did you say
At
you-
20, at 23
Oh,
years
at
old.
20,
Yeah.
sorry.
I was like, I
I was
think
about
I
to
met
say
you
the
when I was
same
like
thing, and I put it
25.
together.
Oh, so, okay,
At
sorry,
23.
mental pretzel here.
23
Also,
years
we've
old.
known each other a really fucking long time. if I met you when I was like 25, but
No, we met 19.
2019, yeah. It would have been
It's been
27, 27.
It's been just over 5 years.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
I can't either. Lots changed, man. But yeah, that was a traumatic event, and
Oh, okay.
we're getting.
There we go.
The last question I have for you is any struggles you've had to deal with in your life or industry that you'd like to share? The floor is open.
My life or industry?
I guess I'll start. I mean, in life, obviously we already talked about the testicular cancer, but I mean, it's really hard in how do I say this? In the entertainment industry, you have to put on a face. Like, that's just what it is. We're here to do a job, first off, but also we're here to kind of be that person that, you know, like, you have to be happy. Like, if some random chick in the front row is like, take a picture of me and my friends, it's like, sure, fuck it, yeah. But it's really tough in the entertainment industry that you have to be that person, you know what I mean? Like, no one ever asks you, how are you? Because you can't fucking hear anybody anyway, but I just feel like you had to put up this front, and like I said earlier, Chester, Robin Williams, Philip Seymour Hoffman, even Jim Carrey has come out and said, like, I love acting because I don't have to be myself, kind of thing. Like,
That's
it's so tough in the entertainment industry because people don't want anything other than face value. So Men's Health Month is super special because you can talk about that, but I don't know, have you guys encountered any of that, or in your own industry in finance, or like, I don't know, I feel like finance is kind of all the bros and everything, you know, like you kind of have to put on a face too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the finance industry, I think it's more like cutthroat. And so if you, not necessarily at my current job, but at my prior job, it had this very cutthroat mentality. And Haley might have experienced it different because she's a female and I'm a male. So I might have not gotten away with things, or
Preferential.
I wasn't, I guess, under the microscope as much, I think, as her. However, when you're working with, you know, higher ups and C-suite and all that stuff, there's this mentality of like, you can't screw up. If you screw up, they're really gonna let you know. And I had that experience quite often. Actually, every Thursday, I got essentially reamed from like a C-suite individual, and I just, after a while, you kind of become desensitized to it because you're just like, I'm gonna get yelled at today, and I know it, and I didn't do anything wrong. But I think for entertainment, to kind of hit on your point with the entertainment industry, when you're taking photos and videos of music artists, what I would always think about, especially in the editing room, you're trying to capture the joy and the happiness and like the dopeness of the show, that you almost have this feeling of like, I didn't do well enough. And you know your content is good, but it's trying to figure out how to capture that and make it into a piece of art, so to speak, to make it represented for the artist. Like, hey, I hired you for this job. I want you to produce something for me that's gonna make us look good as a band, so we succeed further. And that can be super difficult, because I know you both probably experienced, you go shoot a show and you get to the editing room and you're like, this is not how I thought this was gonna turn out. I'm not happy with my content. And then you have this sensation of, I wish I could go back, but I can't because it's already happened.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's almost like battling that sense of disappointment, or trying to live up to, you know, someone like Jason, who's who's an incredible photographer and videographer, or like Hudson for me is who I try to not compare myself to, because I'm in no realm of his. But you look at, you know, we did Rowdy Town, and I did the best that I could with the gear that I have.
Still do.
To make that super cool content. I spent hours upon hours making a 1 minute video, probably 20 to 24 hours worth of editing.
I believe it.
For a 1 minute video, and you're expecting this reaction from fans and all that stuff, and being like, this is super cool, like, holy shit. And then you look at someone like Hudson, who probably spent half the time I did, and his content's way like superior. And I'm just like, dude, what am I doing?
Well, I talked to him, and he was like, I did film for like college,
Yeah.
so like obviously it's gonna take him less time.
Yeah.
But
And that's his profession.
Yeah.
For me, that's not my main profession. It's more of a hobby.
yeah,
But
like that's the hard part about being in photo and video in the entertainment industry is like, for us as hobbyists, or like I mean it is a profession. Let's say that. Like, but for us as someone who did not study film or do that work beforehand,
marketing.
yeah, or marketing, or like it's tough to see that, because you come out with this finished product and you're like so proud of it, and it's like, this is awesome, and then you don't even use it, you know.
That's the worst, man.
Yeah.
That is the biggest blow.
Oh yeah, putting hours into like,
And they
something
don't
you
use it.
thought was super sick, and they either don't use it, or people see it and they don't even realize
Yeah.
how much time and effort it took to do that 3-second, you know, transition or something like that.
You
know,
get like
you
a
don't
like
see
in your
that.
DMs, but you don't get a like on the actual
That's a
post.
problem again with like social media. So many people are just swiping through stuff, and they don't actually consider the time and effort and the skills it takes to create something like that.
Because there's so many people doing it.
Because there's
Yes.
so many
Yes.
people doing it. Or
But
someone.
it goes back to your thing where you're like, I don't want to be on social media anymore.
Yeah.
You
Now-
can't base it off of social media.
No.
You can't base your life off social media.
No. And
But it
if you- I'm
is
sorry. You
it
gotta
is
change
a
your habits.
factor. It is a factor in that. It's like it exists. It's prevalent in our society. And am I gonna Kurt Cobain myself? Probably not. But
Please don't.
it's tough though. You know, like it is a marketable factor in your business where it's like, if I don't get likes, I can't grow, kind of thing.
Well, and I've had a friend of mine, actually, I don't think you've met him, but I've mentioned his name to
I
you.
definitely have. I'm friends with him.
And he stopped doing, this last year, he stopped doing concerts and stuff because he was getting screwed over by, which this is a whole different topic and we're not gonna get into it, but, photographers and videographers get screwed in the entertainment
They do.
industry.
They do. Even
All
artists
the
get
time.
screwed.
All the time.
Yeah.
And he was just so fed up with it. It was so like, I commend him for, you know, being like, you know what, this is, at some point, this isn't worth my time. And again, that just comes down to like your whole mental health, because if you're literally killing yourself over trying to make content for people, they don't appreciate it, either like the artists, the fans, the industry itself, then it really takes a hit on your ego, and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I'm gonna focus my time on something else at this point. And that's what I've come to like to do, because my mother-in-law asked me today on the way down to the airport, she's like, when was the last time you did an Uno project? I was like, honestly, probably over a year ago.
It's been a while.
I honestly can't remember I do Not this March.
No,
Last
because
March.
I couldn't.
Because you couldn't go.
Yeah, I couldn't go.
That was the last Uno project I had done.
So it's been almost 2 years. Wow.
No, I took my camera to the hospital with me, and like those pictures. Those pictures you guys saw on the. I even posted the amount of days it's been since I last posted on Instagram, and it was like 272 days or something like that.
Good. I mean, good for you though.
And I took my camera and I captured those moments.
Dude, that's what, honestly, stuff like that, like in your own life, like important moments in your own life, especially your own kid being born, is one of the coolest things about being talented with a camera, being able to capture moments like that to then enjoy for the rest of your life. Because I mean, like even when I go through photos of my family, like I see of my family or me as a kid, like I'm so happy that I have those to like see how far I've come or like what things were like at the time, even if I don't remember it, and being able to like adequately at best like capture those moments. Even though I've seen most of the photos that have taken of me, it's just my mom with a point and shoot.
Yeah.
But I look at that photo, I'm like, this photo's like nuts, and she doesn't even realize it. But I heard a thing like it's like photos get better over time. So like even if you take some random little like snapshot of your friend doing something stupid, or you have some like stupid face and like you're looking at it like, oh, this photo sucks. Well, in like 10 years, you're gonna see that photo, and the memories that come from it are so important. The nostalgia factor, which is why I think film is making such a quick comeback, because we are in a digital age of cameras being in everyone's pockets. Everyone's got a camera. There's so many photos going on. There's social media is crazy. It's like you're bombarded. But it's like when you shoot film, you're literally paying for every single photo. So like you want to make those photos good. So you put a little bit more effort into it. You take your time. You slow down. It lets you, reverse what like technology and society are doing to us and our brains, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. Take really good care in capturing that moment, and then you enjoying it later just makes it that much more special.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big mental health thing too for me, is that when I shoot film, it lets me kind of relax in a way. Like I obviously put a little bit more effort into it, but it's like, oh, I know this is going to be good because I'm going to take my time.
Yeah.
If I pick up a digital camera, it's more about capture as many moments as I can, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I have 1,000 photos to get.
Yeah.
It's quality over quantity.
Yeah, because you can't really edit them too much, if you even edit them at all. I try not to. I really don't hardly touch them.
I mean, with film you can.
If it comes out like crap, then I'm just like, all right, well, I'm not gonna really try to salvage this unless it's like really important.
I mean, that is one thing with what you're saying, like for the film, you can't really edit that, right?
I mean, once you get a digital file, you can, but it's
obviously,
it's the amount that you can do any tweaks whatsoever besides like Photoshop. Even with Photoshop, it's like you still have this very ingrained photo with like grain and color and that's already baked into the film, and then the resolution of the scans can only really go so high unless you get them, pay more to get them expanded for like a wall or something. But there's only so much you can do because it's not like a digital sensor capturing it. It's digital sensor capturing after the fact, and so like once you start blowing things up, you can't do much with it.
Okay, I feel like you're on a roll. Answer Thomas's
I
question.
feel like I'm just rambling.
Anything over the past? You've been through a lot over the past couple of years.
Dude, yeah.
So I mean, anything
Nuts.
in that realm?
What was so we were talking about, what was the original question again?
Any struggles in your life or industry that you'd like to share?
As relates to men's health. I mean,
Your own health, really.
a big one that, I've struggled with is like going to your day job. Like my day job, I shoot photos of classic cars for a living, but it's
And they're insane.
I mean, so what it started out as,
Makes me want to buy
I was doing social media, I was doing all this creative stuff on the side, but while I was enjoying that aspect of it, I had a supervisor that was absolutely terrible for my mental health, really terrible for everyone's mental health in the entire building that I was working. And you know, he had issues that he needed to work through, things that was going on in his life that he was basically making it everyone else's problem. And so, you know, that's not a great environment to be in. And I was the only person in the building that, you know, directly worked with him every day. Everyone else could like kind of avoid him in some aspect, but I had no choice. He was my supervisor. He was showing me the ropes. And then once I kind of like got everything out from him that I could, as far as learning, I realized, oh, he's not like really a photographer. I am a photographer. This guy just knows how to work a camera sometimes.
Sure.
And so there were things that he was doing that he was just telling me, and I was just like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you doing this the way you're doing it? So I didn't have any choice but to just keep going. And so it's like, you know, you walk in every day, like just like you said, you put on a face. That's just like, I've sent you a meme about that recently. I think I might have sent both of you a meme about it. It's like, I can't even remember what it said, but it had something to do with, you know, putting on a face at work and you have like no choice and you're just like, yeah. And then as soon as you turn around, it's like, oh my God, what is going on? And so, you know, every day I had to go walk in with this guy, put on a face. You know, it was very strenuous mentally to, you know, and sometimes I couldn't do it. Sometimes I would lash out because he would lash out at other people. He would make everyone's life miserable. And you know, my boss didn't realize how big of an issue it was until after I left, moved states, and then all of a sudden it's just Alex there again, and he's like, oh, this is an issue. Every single person in the building is like, bring Chase back. Why is this guy still here? What's wrong with you? Like, obviously I moved for other reasons, but those kind of subsided. My dad was going through cancer. He's in remission now. He's good. It was prostate cancer, so he's good. So as soon as I found out he was okay and everything's clear, you know, I was like, all right, well, I can move to another state to get work because Oklahoma at the time still wasn't super great for my career. So I took it, literally was driving to take a job. No, I was driving to take a job in Arkansas, and my boss called me and was like, hey, you know, this is what we want to do. You know, if you're interested, let me know. You got time? I was like, okay, and I turned it down. Was gonna take the job in Arkansas. The job in Arkansas was not. It was, you know, I was gonna be in the same position that I was here financially, and just like struggling with the same things, just in a different state. And I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? And I was panicking. Had, you know, all these decisions to make, and this is more like, you know, mental health stuff. It's like it's like you're expected to be the breadwinner. You're expected to make money. You know, I was in this position of like, do I take the job that aligns more with my like long-term goals and keep struggling like I have been the past several years and be miserable, or do I take the money and then work out, you know, the career stuff over time, which won't be as mentally taxing? And so I had to come up with that, you know, position. And I was having panic attacks. I didn't sleep for like several days, and I was like, all right, I'm taking this job. I'm moving back to Colorado. And ever since I did, I've been so much happier. And you know, like being able to be back with you guys and do this stuff is amazing. So yeah. Anyway, go into this job, put on my face, struggle through it. Things happen in a certain way sometimes that, you know, isn't always the best, but it, you know, in the end it worked out. I'm here. I'm doing the thing. I'm, you know, making decent money, and now I go every day into my job where, you know, I get to. There's not really anything that I can like thrive from anymore, but it's giving me peace of mind with my finances and my life state. It's giving me stability, which I haven't had for a very long time. So I'm super thankful for that. And
Would you say you're happy?
yeah, I'm happy.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
It's always a journey, and there's, you know, always things to improve over time. But as of right now, even with getting a hit and run at work and moving like all at the same time, it's just been like a lot to deal with mentally, with all the things I gotta, you know, knock out. care of. But even with all of that, like I'm still like generally I know that I'm in a better place than I was several years ago. So that makes me happy. So
Good.
struggle, with mental health in the workplace, and sometimes you gotta put on a face. Sometimes you gotta go through things that you don't want to do or don't seem right at the time. But you've got to look deeper and find the path that works best for you long term. But sometimes you have to make short term sacrifices. And I was about to work in Arkansas and have a creative team and get paid for that, and like build a creative team over several years and work in the industry I kind of wanted to work in the first place. But I was like, what, I can find this again, but I need stability, and stability is what I needed for my own mental health, because it's what I struggled with for so long. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be stable, and not have to worry about money 24/7. Everyone wants more money, obviously, but there's a certain level that you need to have just to be sane, and not have to revolve your whole life around, is this paycheck coming in? Is it enough to cover the bills? So yeah,
Well, we're happy to have you, man.
I'm
Like,
so glad you moved
I
back
was
here.
I was devastated when you
Same.
moved away.
I think you and I were together at some brewery and we were talking about it, and we were both just like sad boys drinking beer. Our boy's gone.
James
This
left.
sucks. And then like I think it was like 2 months later, you're like, I'm moving back. We're like, it was literally there's
1 month.
Yeah.
I moved to Oklahoma
It was a sad month.
for 30 days, and then moved back at the beginning of the next month. It's crazy.
Yeah, we needed our Grammy boy back.
Dude,
The Grimes.
This place is great. Y'all are great.